Welcome to your practice today, friends. Aimee here, and today we have a practice that will focus on the lower back and the outer hips. So providing relief, a little stretching and a little strengthening and lengthening. So for today's practice, if you have a block and a blanket, then we will utilize those. No worries if you don't. You can also use a cushion from the couch or a blanket from the bed. If you have anything that's about 4 to 5 inches wide and sturdy, then that will suffice as a block and prop as well. And we're going to start on our backs today. So we're going to start low to the earth, ground down, and get settled in here. So I'll meet you there. And the knees are bent. The feet are going to start about distance apart. And take your time as you settle in, shifting from left to right, and let the shoulder blades slide in together. And bringing the thumbs to the hip points here. So finding that bony part of the pelvis and lifting all 10 of your toes, finding lots of space, and then re-grounding each toe one at a time. Nice. And let's do that again. So lift the toes, press down through the heels, spread the toes wide, and then reset each toe down, pressing more so through the big toe ball mound of your feet and your pinky side edge of your foot. Yeah. Finding the 4 corners of your feet. And then bring your attention back to your thumbs and your hip points and feel as if you were drawing the front of your hip points together. And so the hip points aren't actually going to move, but can you notice a toning and firming in the low belly? So we're asking our deep core stabilizers to fire and wake up a little bit today. Nice. So keep that gentle engagement by squeezing the hip points together, pressing down through the 4 corners of the feet. And notice if there's any tension in the shoulders or the neck. So can you soften here? And now bring awareness to your breath. Welcome an inhale through your nose and let it out through your mouth. As you let it out through your mouth, feel the low belly hug in. Draw another breath in through your nose. And let it out through your mouth. Gentle contraction deep in the core. And then release the hands from your hip points and stretch the arms over your head. And start to breathe in and out through your nose here. And feeling the movement and syncing of your breath to body right away today. So as you inhale, you notice the physical sensations as your ribs and your belly lift up. And as you exhale, you connect with the gentle hugging in and descending of your ribs back into the body, back into the earth. Breathe in, finding space and deeper capacity in the lungs. And a gentle waving out of your exhale through your nose. 2 more cycles just like this. Just tuning into the physical body, tuning into your breath, preparing for dynamic movements to start our practice. Bring the arms more so out into a T with the palms up. Draw the front hip points together and then let your knees slide gently over to your left. Breathe in firm and hug the low belly in. Draw the knees back to center and then let your knees slide over to your right. Gentle movements to start our practice, syncing breath to movements. So as you breathe in, come back to center. The knees return. And as you exhale, let the knees slide over the opposite direction. One more time over to your left. Breathe in, draw the hip points together. Bring the knees back to your center and then over to your right. Very nice. breathe in. The knees come to neutral. And then as you exhale, let them fall over to your left. Reach your left arm up into the sky and then over to your right palm. So now we're exploring just a little twist in the thoracic and mid-back. Good. And then inhale, let your left arm come back over. And now let your right arm roll over, bring the palms to touch. And then open back up. Chest squares to the sky. Let your left arm move and come over. And your left arm won't get all the way to your right palm, but you're just exploring space in the ribs here. Let your left arm return back to the ground and then roll over to your right. Bring your right palm to touch your left. Good. And then release back into this open T shape. Bring the knees back to center. Let them slide over to your right. Twist over to your left, so let the right arm reach up and over. Like it's going to touch your left palm, but doesn't quite get there. And then open back up. Let the back of your hand return to the ground. And then this time, roll over to your right. Bring the palms to touch. Nice. So the knees are staying heavy where they are. And just exploring both sides of the ribs in a little twisting motion back and forth. Go for length as you roll over to your left, maybe reaching past your fingertips this time. And then opening back. Reach your right arm up and over. Reach, reach, reach. And then return into this open shape, palms up, heart shining towards the sky. Bring your knees back to center. And then reset. So draw the hip points together to lift the pelvis away from the earth and then reset the hips back down. Maybe slide the hips down one way and then the other. And then bring the hands and the thumbs to the hip creases and just a little bit of traction here. So you're gently pressing into the inner thigh and then rolling the palms up towards the knee. So you're making like this C motion here. So the thumbs come into the hip crease and then roll and press the thigh bones away. Feeling a little bit of length in the lumbar spine and a little bit of traction. So you're exploring more space between the hips and the ribs. One more time. Then hug your right knee into your chest. Lift your forehead up to kiss your knee. And then set your right foot back down. Hug your left knee into your chest. Draw the front ribs into your hips and lift. And then release. One more time, going for a little march here. This time stay lifted. Extend your left leg long. Let the heel hover. Breathe in. And then breathe out. Move the right thigh away from your body. So now the arms extend, but they're still interlaced around your shin bone. Curving in the upper back. Let your chin rest gently into your chest. And release. Rebend your left knee, set your foot back down on the ground, and we'll switch sides here. So now your right foot grounds down. Hug your left knee into your chest. Draw the forehead up to kiss your left kneecap. And then release the shoulders down to the earth. Extend the arms. The shin moves away from your body. One more time. Hug in. Stay lifted here, or you can always let your head and your shoulders rest and reach your right leg long. And as you reach through that right heel and get longer between your right ribs and your right pelvis, start to feel your shin pressing into your interlaced fingers, and then lift and rock yourself up. Nice. And then you can play with hugging the thigh into the chest and extending your thigh away. One more time. And release. Let's bring both feet down to the ground and then hug in, curl into a little ball. And start to roll up and down the length of the spine. Get some momentum until you come all the way through. Plant the hands and I'll meet you in a tabletop position. So the hands are underneath your shoulders, knees underneath the hips, about hip distance apart. And tuck the toes here, and then the spine is staying in neutral position. So you have the S-curve shape in your spine. a little arch in the lower back, and you're pushing the hands into the ground. The gaze is down towards the earth. And then like someone was pulling the crown of your head forward towards the wall ahead of you, shift the body, the shoulders come over your wrists. And then as you exhale, someone's pulling the tailbone back to the wall behind you. So your inhale, move forward, move the sternum forward, and then exhale, shift back. Nice. And then you can gradually start to make this motion bigger. And keep that gentle engagement in the low belly, so the hip points are drawing in towards one another. Some gentle rocking here. Send the hips back and then return to a neutral position. And we're going to do a variation of cat to cow shape here. So focusing a little more on lengthening and stretching out the outer hips today. So those muscles that stabilize the body and hold us up from the outside in. So bring your left knee in line with your navel, the center of your body, and then cross your right knee behind. And then open the shins like you're making a V shape. Breathe in, find length in your spine. And as you exhale, press the earth away, round, look up at your belly button. Inhale, open across your chest, lead with your sternum, look forward. And exhale, press the earth away, round and arch in the upper back, cat pose. Inhale, open across your chest from collarbone to collarbone, lift the gaze, and exhale. Nice. And then start to flow, find your own rhythm here. Breathe in and breathe out. One breath, one movement, breathing into this cow shape. Open up across your chest. Let the tailbone lift gently. Exhale, round, press the earth away. Nice. And then release, uncross. Tap out the feet, maybe send the hips back. Slide the heart forward. Maybe swing from side to side, and we'll do the other side. So your right knee aligns with the center axis of your spine and your body. And then open up the shins to make this V shape. Breathe in, find length, neutral position, and then exhale, press the earth away, round for cat pose. Look up at your belly button. Reach the tailbone down in between the heels. Inhale, lift the gaze, open across your chest, tailbone gently reaches upwards. And exhale, move back, wave through, cat pose. Breathe in. Find your rhythm, find your breath. Invite you to close the eyes as you move and flow, finding some fluidity and connecting into this dynamic movement, syncing breath to body. 2 more rounds. And after you move and arch and round into your cat pose, uncross the knees, rock it a little forward, rock it a little back. Tuck your toes. Press through the palms, draw the inner hip points together, let the knees lift and hover. So lift the back of the hips, lift and pull the low belly into the back body. A little bear pose here. Stay with me. You can always lower down here and just draw the knees and the wrists together isometrically. Breathe in and breathe out. Staying here, extend your right leg back, little calf stretch, and then return to that bear pose. Stretch your left leg back. Return here. Keep drawing, zipping up the low belly into your navel. Stay with me. Breathe in. And exhale, take a down dog, widen and find your stance as you need to here. And then move a little for this first down dog. So maybe slide the hips left to right, bending one knee and then the other. And then we'll find stillness here. So press through the palms, really press and grip your sticky mat. And then hollow out the armpits so you'll feel the shoulders lift away from your ears as you hollow through your armpits. And lift the thigh bones into your pelvis so you feel the back of your hips reaching up to the sky. And now let your heels reach down to the earth. Good. Let your gaze be gently focused back behind the heels. Just check in with your neck. Shake it yes and shake it no. Lingering here in this state of pause. And on your next breath in, let's roll forward. Find a little bit of arch in the upper back. Plank pose. This is always an option to come down to your knees. And exhale, pull the belly in and back. Lift the hips down, dog. Inhale, roll through, press the earth away. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hollow out in the armpits. Breathe in and breathe out. Inhale, look forward. Step your right foot forward. Step your left foot forward. And we'll be in a forward fold. Generous bend in the knees so the feet are hip distance apart. And really ground down through the four corners. So even lift the toes away from the earth and reset them back down into your mat. And press down through the heels and then pull the mat apart with your feet and slowly come to rise. Keep that engagement in the low belly. Beautiful. Sweep the arms up overhead. Unite the palms and then exhale. Good. Let's find mountain pose. So soften in the knees. Shift the weight back and forth, left to right. Draw the heels down and out and feel a little more space across the lower back, and then pull the thighs gently into your navel and your belly button. Soften in the shoulders. Breathe in. Lift the heels away from the earth. And let's lower down a couple inches and then rise for a couple inches. Little balance work. Lower down and then come to lift one more time. And then set the heels back down. Bend at the knees, hinge and draw the hips back. Bend your knees as much as you need to here. Let the head release. Shake it yes and shake it no. And then step your right foot back and we'll come into a low lunge. So here's where you'll have a block handy if you have one. Squeeze that right glute and hug into rise up, low lunge. Yeah, keep squeezing the right glute. Breathe in, lift. Find a little lift from the ribs away from your pelvis. And then exhale, bring your right hand down to the earth or your block. And open twist. So hug the ribs in, twist from your center and extend out. Maybe lift your left arm into the air. Maybe you're here today, you want to bring it behind your head and get a little more into the pec. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, we're going to take a half splits. Flex your left toes into your face. Slide your block back. And the hips are mostly in line with the knees here. And then drag your left heel down and in towards that right knee. Good. Press through the right palm into the block. So lift away from the earth. And then we'll take a little twist here. Breathe in and breathe out. And explore here. So in your own body, how does it feel if you rotate the pinky toes away from your center and then rotate them back in towards your center? So exploring the different sides of the outer hip here, the different muscles and the different connective tissues. One more breath in. Press your hand into the earth or the block and then release. Plant your hands, step it back into a downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward, lower down to the knees, hover. Look forward, and then with strength here, bring yourself down to your mat. Untuck your toes, press firmly through the tops of the feet, and then come on to your little spidey fingers here. So the hands are outside of your mat and in front of you about a foot. And then with your inhale, press down through the pinky side edge of your foot and curl your heart up. Let your elbows wrap down to the ground. And as you exhale, let your chin soften into the chest. Breathe here. And release. One more time. Inhale. Cobra variation. Keep the neck long. Soften the back of the throat. And lower down. Bring your hands back into the bottom tips of your ribs. And as you exhale, tuck your toes. Press yourself back into a downward facing dog. Take a cycle of breath here. Step your right foot forward. Lower your left knee. Feel your right hip crease draw back to your left knee and vice versa. And then rise up as you squeeze your left glute gently in. Breathe in. Feel the back body fire and activate. And exhale. Bring that left hand down to the earth or the block. Open twist. So feel your right rib cage wrap in towards the spine. Maybe you reach the right fingertips into the air. Maybe you're here today with the hand behind the head. You can even stretch back towards your left heel. Your practice, so make this your own. Your invitation to do so. And then we take a half splits. Shift your block back. Flex your right toes in. Inhale, reach forward with the sternum, and then exhale, bow down. And then bring your left hand to the block or the earth and start to open twist. Keep dragging that right heel down and in towards your left hip bone. And notice if you've collapsed into that left arm, can you lift and press out of it? And then explore the rotation of the femur in your hip socket by rotating the toes in, rotating the toes out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Lift your left knee back into a lunge and then step your left foot forward to meet your right. Press the mat apart as you rise up. Feel the energy drawing from the inner arches all the way up. Past the fingertips and exhale, take a little cactus shape. Nice. Breathe and reach up, look up. And then exhale, take a cactus shape. Inhale and exhale. Let's fold forward. We're going to move through that sequence one more time. Inhale, lift halfway, bring your hands to your shins, grow long out of your pelvis, and then exhale, step your right foot back. Option here to keep the right knee down to the earth for a low lunge. You can always take this into a different variation and lift the right thigh bone into the air. Inhale, open up to a twist. Breathe in and breathe out. If that right knee is lifted, really firm up in that right thigh. Lift it up towards the sky and then exhale. Let's take a half splits or take it back into a pyramid pose so that back right heel is still spiking up. Draw the left hip crease back. Good. And even here you can take this into a twist or half splits. So you choose. Breathe in and breathe out. Inhale to release. Plant your hands, step it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, roll through into a plank pose. Come all the way down to the belly and the chest. Take that cobra variation, breathe in. As you exhale, draw the chin into the chest gently. Find some lift in the back of the throat. Bring the hands to the lower ribs. Step the toes. Press yourself back and up. Take 2 rounds of breath here. A smooth inhale rolls into a complete exhale. Finding a pause. And then look forward, step your right foot in between your hands. Lower your back knee to the earth for a low lunge, or lift up for a high lunge and take this into a twist. Left hand underneath your left shoulder. Breathe in, firm, and hug in to expand out through your right fingertips. And then bring your hand down to the earth. Right hand returns. Half splits here. Or take this into a pyramid. And looks like this. Inhale, lift the sternum if you're in that pyramid pose. And then exhale, reach the sternum down to your ankle bone. And then maybe you want to take a little bit of a twist. Always options here. One more cycle of breath wherever you are today. Rebend into your right knee, and then let's step your left foot forward to meet your right. Inhale, lift halfway. Find space in your ribs, open across your chest. And exhale, fold. We'll come all the way to rise. Take up space, explore your wingspan, and then bring the hands down to center. So nice. Let's open up into a wide leg forward fold. So take up space here. Angle the toes in just a touch. And then before we move into this, feel a lifting of the inner arches and a grounding down through the pinky side edge of your feet. Breathe in, draw the thighs up to the navel, open up across your chest. And as you exhale, fold inward. Keep that link, keep that sternum shining forward. Bring the hands down to the earth. And then walk forward, find your little Spider-Man fingertips here. And then hollow out the armpits like we did in that down dog. And let your head release. Good. Inhale, find a little length. Maybe you can walk your fingers out half an inch further away from your toes. And then relax into this. So still a lot of engagement and work happening in the legs. Lifting up through the arches and even imagining you were going to pull the mat into the center right underneath your navel. And then release. Walk the hands back in. A little bend in the knees. A little rock from side to side. Pull up in the low belly. Bring the hands to the hips. Come all the way to rise. Nice. Step your feet together. Inhale. And exhale, fold forward. Bring the hands to the earth, lift up on the heels, so come onto the balls of your feet. Let's just rock a little side to side here, front to back. Yeah. And then come all the way down. And we're going to do a gentle twist. So extend your right leg out long. And here's a blanket, will go handy here. If one of your hips is lifted up away from the earth, you can just slide the blanket underneath. So I'll guide you through it. Extend your right leg out long. Cross your left foot over your right thigh bone. And option one is just to hug in here. Breathe in, go for length in the spine, reach the crown of your head. And then maybe you bring your left hand behind and you start to twist over to your left. Good. Option two, bend your bottom leg. And here's where a blanket can go underneath that right hip if it's lifting away from the earth. Hug in and then rotate, open up to your left. Breathing in and up the length of your spine. And exhale, let that left shoulder release from your ear. Good. And then release, keep the legs where they are, but rotate, twist over to the right. And just lower yourself down to any degree, enjoying that stretch in the opposite direction. And then we'll come back, straighten the legs, shake it out. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders, and then press and open up across the chest. Maybe lift the chin, and release. Left leg is extended long. Bend the right knee, hug it in. Cross it over the left thigh, and if that right hip starts to pop up, then just gently slide the blanket underneath. Hug in, and then start to rotate, open twist to your right. Bring the right hand behind the back, and then feel that right shoulder blade hug into the spine. Look over the right shoulder. Another variation is to bend your bottom left knee. Keep hugging with that left hook of the arm and rotate open. So you're hugging the ribs in and then wrapping open towards the back of your space. Notice if that right shoulder is up towards the ears or you're collapsing into it. Feel some lift, feel some energy drawing in and up. Breathe. And release. Keep the legs where they are, but twist it over the opposite side. You can even just reach that right arm towards this diagonal wall. Breathe in and release. Stretch the legs long. And then let's come all the way down to our back, taking your time as you get there. Let's return to that bridge pose shape that we found in the beginning of our practice and find a little hip traction. So use the thumbs into the hip crease to maybe make some more space between the hips and your ribs till you find some equal distance, and moving into a dynamic bridge. So as you inhale, press through the heels, lift the hips, let the arms wave overhead as well. And then as you exhale in unison, let the hips and the arms return back down to the earth. Beautiful. Breathe in, move with this waving motion. Find some fluidity. And exhale, roll it back down. A few more times on your own. Invite you to close the eyes again for this portion of your practice and just feel. Letting your breath guide your movements. And your movements guide your breath, so they start to take this circular shape and pattern. One more time. Keep the hips lifted until you feel a healthy length and extension across the front side of your body. And then maybe you walk the shoulders in. Breathe in, release the chin from your chest. Option to take a bind or just press through like little robot arms. Pressing through the back of the arms to find more stretch and length. And as you exhale, starting with the upper back, return the spine and the back body to the ground. Bring the arms out to a T, palms shining up to the sky, and then gently sliding the knees over to the left and then back over to the right. And we're going to end our practice today with this constructive rest pose. So bringing the feet a couple foot lengths away from your hips. So there's a bend in your knees, but it's like your shins and your thighs are stacked gently like a set of delicate cards, just resting nice and effortlessly into one another. So you don't want the feet too close in, but not too far away either. So just feel it out in your body until you find this ideal length where it feels like the hips are neutral and there's really no effort being done to hold the legs in place. And you want the knees to stay in line with the hips if possible. And you can always take this variation with your blanket roll against a wall or a table. I'm going to use the edge of the balcony here. And with this roll, I'm going to rest my feet and then find this constructive rest. So feel it out for your body, and then bring one hand to your chest and one hand to your belly. Reconnecting and tuning back in with the rhythm of your own breathing. Just enjoying these smooth, fluid cycles of breath rolling and circulating through your body. Feeling the inner thighs and the belly releasing down into the earth, and just noticing if you can feel gravity's subtle pull on your bones and physical body downward, allowing for a little more deep rest. I invite you to stay here for as long as you would like or need. Our rest pose is the most important pose of our practice, where we honor the efforts of all of the work. We balance the challenge and motion and movement with stillness and rest. I will leave you here to rest, friends. Thank you so much for your practice and for devoting your energy back into your body and your breath and your mind. Be well, and I'll see you soon.